It's hot here in Knoxville, y'all. It is time for Costco. Look at that tall boy. His daddy's tall, too. When he stands up straight, he's very tall. Okay. Okay, y'all, it's Costco on a Tuesday, and there are no scooters, so we're going to see how that goes, huh? Y'all, have you seen these candles? Mayfield Luxury 135-ounce candle. It's $50. Look at the size of that. Oh my gosh, how many wicks are those? Are those 5 wick? That's a big candle. Do y'all think I need a Hello Kitty food storage thing? I think I do. It's $17.99. So there are 4 dishes, and oh, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Because I could get this whole thing of like 38 pieces of Snapware for $19.99, but we don't even need it. So if I'm not gonna get that, why would I get this except for Hello Kitty? Maybe it'll be enough for me just to film the Tupperware. Y'all look. It's the tumblers with the lids. Feels like our tumblers used to be bigger than that back in the day. They weren't shiny, but I mean, that's nice, but it's not a very big tumbler. That makes me feel better about not purchasing it. We actually thought about getting this 3-piece fry pan, the Tefal ceramic. That one's really expensive. The green pan. I've heard of those before. Have y'all heard of those? I think I have. But what if we got this one? We do need these. Okay, yeah. We talked about it already, so that's a good buy. I don't think we need any more of our cold tumblers, but that's a good deal. They've been reduced to $13.99 with a manufacturer's rebate. It was a good deal, I think, even when they were $19.99. Scooter accomplished, everyone. It was just out here in the store. I had a nice vent session with a lady about it. Oh, shelves. Here we are in the very cold place. It's so cold. Ooh. Oatly oat milk. Ooh, we can literally see our breath back here, y'all. There's grass-fed butter. There's some Kerrygold up here. Y'all, this is a different Costco experience altogether than it was in North Carolina. Just saying. Not complaining. Okay, so making our ways up the aisles. And then I got a chicken Caesar salad at Costco. I'm not going to use hardly all of that dress. I don't know. I'm tired, y'all. I'm not going to use very much dressing was what I was going to say. And I'm going to have to eat it with a spoon until the handy helper and the disembodied voice get back to the car because I don't know where the forks are. Oh my gosh, y'all. The progress, the progress. There's the beautiful disembodied voice. Hello. Hello. Oh my gosh, he relaid the floor because it was perfectly good.
I don't recommend it.
He doesn't recommend it. Gus gets really lonely for his daddy, so he's in here enjoying the sunshine and being with the disembodied voice.
My helper.
He is your helper. Oh, Gustus. You're so precious.
Now, is that helping?
Is that helping, Gustus? Well, he's looking cute. Isn't that always helpful?
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm out and about today, and I think I see my sister of choice and best friend arriving right now. Yay. Today's lunch spot is White Birch Food and Juices. We used to come here all the time, so nostalgic. What is that? Do we know what that is? I'm not sure what that is. Does anybody out there know what a gas streak is? So here's my sister of choice's food. And then almost identical, here's my food, right? She got quinoa and rice because she's being very good. And I got grits. Oh, hello again, Giddy family. It is several days out, many days out, from our Costco visit. Let me talk to you about it a little bit because I said it was something I couldn't really get into in the store. You know, when we went to Costco, if you go back and look at that video, if you haven't already watched it, when we went to Costco in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we had a great experience. It was clean and lovely, and, you know, plenty of scooters for accessibility for me. It was great. People were happy and whatever. Almost from the moment we went into the Costco in Knoxville, and no offense to Knoxville, Tennessee, whatever, it's a lovely town with lots of good used bookstores and stuff. But the moment that we walked in, there was just a different feeling about it. First of all, the lady, we went up to get cards because when we were in Winston-Salem, the card printing machine was down. And so they loaded our card information onto the apps that we had on our phones for the the disembodied voice and I, for the disembodied voice and me. Let's be clear. Object of a preposition requires a preposition, requires an object, requires an object pronoun, which me is an object pronoun. I had to get English teacher there for a minute because that is one of my personal pet peeves that we're not teaching enough anymore, and then my students have to learn it in college, which is, you know, a disservice to them. So at any rate, when we went up to the service desk at this Costco, immediately, man, the lady we dealt with first, God love her, I don't know what was happening in her life, but she was an angry person. And then we actually, as God would have it, we ended up going, ended up in line. A bunch of people came back to work, I think from lunch or breaks. And the lady that we then talked to get our cards was a sweetheart. She was such a baby doll. But this is one of the things about that experience that was so odd, okay? So it wasn't like everybody was in a bad mood, but it was like it was one or the other. There was a spirit of dissent going on in some way, because some people were absolutely delightful, like the young lady who helped us, and some people were as angry as all get out, fighting with their family members in the store. And when I say fighting, I'm not talking about, you know, like fist fights, but yelling at each other, cursing at one another. And then the handy helper was like, right. And then some people were just delightful, like smiling, going, "How are you doing?" And I was, "How are you doing?" So much so that there was one sweet lady, a silver citizen, who smiled so sweetly at us that I stopped, made sure to tell her how beautiful her smile was. And she was really touched by that. And I love to do that. I love to find positive, wonderful things to say to and about people. But it was such an experience. And even like, if you'll notice, I didn't have a scooter at first, because there were scooters in the parking lot that were battery run down. Batteries were running down. There were scooters in the store that were just in various places in the store. And that's what we ended up finding, one near the optical center. Costco has a great optical center, by the way. And we ended up finding one there. But yeah, when I asked, there was a woman in line at the optical center, and she was behind a gentleman in a scooter. I didn't know it was her husband at first, but I said, when we found the scooter, I said, "Ma'am, do you know if this is someone's scooter and they've just gone around the corner on foot?" And she said, "No, sweetie." She was very sweet. She's like, "That one was abandoned." And when I got in it, I kind of understood why, I guess, because it was super slow. But I don't care how slow they are. I'm always excited and grateful to have a scooter there. And we talked about, you know, how I'm going to have my own power chair at some point in the near future or the distant future or something, to go to places like that, just to know. Because if we hadn't found that, there's no way I would have been able to walk around the store. But God is good. God is real good all the time. And so the best. And I found that, and she helped me. And so the disembodied voice emptied the stuff that was already in the scooter basket out, and I just used that scooter. And again, it was a real blessing to have. I'm very grateful for it. But I said, yeah, when I came in, they said, she was like, "Oh, sweetie, let me tell you." She said, "I looked all over the store and found the scooter for my husband." And that's when I realized the sweet man with her was her husband. And she said, and it's just, I said, "Well, you know, that's a shame. I'm sorry." Because I asked her, she had said, "I've looked all around for one," and I didn't understand that the one she found was the one her husband was in, and I thought maybe she needed one. So I said, do you need mine? Do you need that? Not mine, but do you need this one? Because, I can go back out to the car. They can do the shopping by themselves. She's like, oh, no, no, no. We found this one for my husband. And that's when I understood that that was her husband she was with. She said we would have had to have left. He would have had to have left if not. And so yeah, I took that one, and she was very sweet. And I said, I was like, that's curious about not having any in the store. And she said, oh, it's lazy is what it is. And I think she was responding to the fact that she felt like store employees should have been out gathering up the ones that were just sitting there with drained batteries. And I agree. And I understand her frustration with that because, when you're out, and especially her husband, mine is just a disability, right? And her husband looked like he might have been recovering from something. And that can be really frustrating when you're trying to take care of someone and you want them to have their dignity and their independence, and the accessibility aids that are supposed to be there for a huge warehouse space are not. So after that, we bebopped around and we got all kinds of good stuff. And I made it my business after that to smile, even if people didn't smile back, to say hello to people, to be super kind, and just to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. I think that so many times that's what we don't do, and we should, is just make a decision. I'm going to be a part of the solution regardless of what that solution looks like, as long as you can do that and be a person driven by your character and stay within, kindness to other human beings and first do no harm to anyone sort of attitude. And just understanding that, it's not about making ourselves look good or tough or anything else. It's about how we make other people feel or contribute to how other people feel with our actions. Now, it is very difficult for people to upset me with their actions by anything that they say to me, a look that they may cut me or whatever. That does not upset me at all. What upsets me is when people are being unkind to others. As Mr. Rogers said, watching people demean other people, I'm usually going to speak up, whether it's to my detriment or not. I'll tell you, when we get to the podcast, I will, which is, again, Eat You a Banana, Tales from My Family, I will give you some examples of how my mother taught me to speak up for others. And I've had to do on a variety of occasions as a teacher, as an educator, as a teacher. I mean, my goodness, yes, had to speak up for people, or was called upon to speak up for people, and I'm happy to do so. So anyway, on to this trip. So we had already gone to the thrift stores that you saw in this video before this. And so we were tired, we were hot, but we were fine. And, again, we're going to make ourselves have a good experience where we go. It's a choice most of the time. But it was just an entirely different experience based on the attitudes of, quite frankly, I mean, this is not statistically accurate, but it seemed like about half of the people who were there were just so angry. And, it's not even that hot. I talk about it's being hot, but like the high today was 79, okay? And yes, 79 is hot, but I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. That is not hot. I've been here for 16 years, and so I have softened up a little about the heat. I never liked being in heat. I've never enjoyed that. It's so ironic that I was born in a place that and raised and spent a lot of my life in places that were so hot in Louisiana, than Texas and Louisiana again, because I am not built for the heat. I am really not. And that from the time I was a little kid, I did not like being hot. And I mean, honestly, we had window units growing up, and we have window units. You might be able to hear it in the background here, because we have this 1929 salt box farmhouse. Her name is Eunice, and we absolutely love you, Eunice. She is such a great shelter and just wraps her arms around us, her 90-plus-year-old arms around us. And honestly, to cool her would be prohibitively expensive with central air and heat. So we have window units. Again, I grew up with them. I have never preferred central heat to window units, to be honest, or central air and heat. And we stay warm in the winter and we stay cool in the summer, and it's all good. And we end up actually spending less, thank you, Jesus, on electricity. Oh, may he be praised, on electricity than we would if we had obviously central air heat, I think, in pretty much any older build house. And we are not really comfortable. I think they're beautiful. I think new houses are beautiful. I think double wide trailers are beautiful. I think, all that. But I like an old house. I like something with a few dents in it, and also something that's been standing for long enough for me to know that it's going to continue to stand. Correct? So, all that is to say, there was nothing about our situation other than the tension and division in our country, maybe, to make people that angry at a Costco on a Tuesday. Right? Like, y'all, cheer up. It's so funny because I'll conclude the video with this story and a few little words about how much I love you. So, I was watching an interview with the late great Dame Maggie Smith, and I think she was on the Graham Norton chat show. And I always just think she's so funny. I love Downton Abbey. I love it. I just think she's so funny. I've loved all the stuff, the prime of Miss Jean Brodie, all the beautiful. She's just gorgeous and wonderful, and aged so gratefully, and graciously. So gracefully, I think. So Maggie Smith was telling this story about, her role in Harry Potter as Professor Minerva McGonagall. And again, she was fabulous in everything she did. And she was in a grocery store. It might have been like a Waitrose or a Tesco or an Aldi or something in England. And she was in line. And she said there was a little boy about 6 years old who was in line either in front of her, behind her. I can't remember. Maybe I'll link the clip in the description. That would be fun. And you could watch that if you wanted to. But it went something like this. I'm paraphrasing, but I think part of it I'm actually quoting. So the little boy saw her, and she said, I saw the look in his eyes. And I was like, oh, here we go. Because, he recognized her from Harry Potter. And she said he was looking at her and looking at her and looking at her. I can't remember how she responded to him, but she's like, yes, or something like that. And I think she did her character well, because this is what I think Professor McGonagall would have said anyway. But the little boy looked at her, and there's a scene in Harry Potter where it's a really cool scene where she is a cat, and then she transforms into herself. It's a really cool piece of special effects. And the little boy said, something like, can you really turn into a cat? And she just looked at him and she said, I don't know what came over me. I think she low-key felt a little bad about it, but she looked at him and said, pull yourself together. And that's what I felt like saying to people at Costco. Pull yourselves together. You have at least enough money to be a member of this club, which is at the cheapest going to be 30-something bucks, and to come in here and buy things in bulk. I wanted to have a come to Jesus meeting. I just wanted to be like, everybody who's grateful and blessed, keep walking. But those of you who are grumbling and cursing at one another and being ugly to the beautiful family that God gave you, here's what I'd like to say. Pull yourselves together. It's going to be all right. And you never know what people are experiencing. And I'm very sensitive to that. You never know what people are going through. And I know sometimes people can be a little difficult because of that. But to just slap out be having a cursing fit in public, or to, again, no judgment, just it was not helping anyone in the situation. So again, if you find yourself in a situation, pull yourselves together. And I think I did say several times, I tried to be, if people were really angry, I tried to position myself carefully and say things like, isn't it a beautiful day? Oh my gosh, look at this. I can't believe what a good deal this is. So, hopefully that helped. But the bottom line is we had a great time. It was an experience. We were making memories with the disembodied voice, the handy helper, and I. And speaking of memories and making memories, I have to get up really early in the morning. I'm going to try to document some of this for you, because I'm taking the big brother, our 33-year-old son, I'm taking the big brother to get the peg for a tooth implant. He was working out a few years ago, and he had a machine at home. So let's be careful, darling Linda. Let's be careful with our exercise equipment, because he had something attached anyway. It popped back in his face from a door casing, and he messed up one tooth, and then he totally knocked out pretty much the other one. So for probably 2.5 to 3 years, we've been working our way to this implant, and now is the time. So we're really excited. It's been a dental journey, an oral surgery journey, but we're really excited for him to get this. And tomorrow, I need to be. So he lives about 30 minutes away on the interstate, right? And it's not really, it's really more like 20 minutes, I guess, to his house. And then we need to be another 30 minutes away at 8 o'clock. So I will probably be getting up at about 5:30, and I'm going to pick him up at about 7, because it's actually not just another 30 minutes away. It's another 30 minutes away to get to the town in Tennessee where he's having this procedure done. But then you have to go all the way across the town, and there's only really one way to do that, and there's lots of traffic lights. And I want to make sure we get there in plenty of time. And he's got soft food and everything at his house ready to go. And he just needs his mama. He needs his mama. And there's a specific reason I'm the one taking him, because the disembodied voice would be happy to take him there. He has friends who would be happy to take him there. But that boy needs his mama, and his mama needs to be there for that. So I am privileged to be a part of their family, my boys, my daughter, and it's just a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to be there for each other. We were talking about that actually a little bit earlier. I also want to be here for you. If there's anything specific you'd like for me to pray about, please let me know. I'll talk to you more about my prayer life in a different video, but please do let me know. Even if I'm a Southerner who can handle an unspoken request. If you want to put in the comments, anybody who prays, please pray for me. Anybody send out positive vibes, energy. I am more than happy to do that. I will put you authentically into my prayer routine and make sure that I'm thinking about you during the day and have a little talk with Jesus about what's going on with you. Even if you don't want to share what that is, just let us know if you need us, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other cheer up. We're here to pull each other together in our prayer lives and just by being kind to one another. I just love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. I feel like I'm authentically talking to each and every one of you every time I make a video. So I hope that comes through, and I hope you feel that. Please do go with me in peace and love to serve others. Please do pray for people who get angry at discount clubs. And please do also pray for the dear, beautiful, embattled, and glorious Ukraine.